We supply the SweepSticks in two 10-inch lengths, and they're joined together with a very small tab like this. And what you have to do is just break these apart like that. You can get rid of the tab, and then we glue these two sections together. And it's important that you glue them together because the glue bond will actually keep this from being able to move around and go out of alignment like that. To glue them, we just use plain carpenter's glue like this, and I like to use something that has a fairly small tip. This is something that's been cobbled together with one of our Plyo-Bond tips on a honey jar of all things, but it works quite well. So I just like to apply a bead of glue on all the surfaces that are going to be joined together. Now the SweepSticks are designed to have a box joint on the end like this, and the advantage of a box joint is it gives you a lot of gluing surfaces, and that's the trick to getting something glued together that forms a very strong, solid, reliable bond. There, so now I've put a bead of glue on all the surfaces all the way around, and they just simply slide together like this. And I like to push them in that way. That way we know that the glue spreads evenly all the way around like that. You can see that the glue is squeezed out a little bit, and that's good. That's exactly what we're looking for. We want to make sure that it's on a flat surface so it dries on a nice even plane like that. And that's it. And we just let that dry for a few minutes until the glue cures. Sometimes when they're glued together, you can see where this is pushed out a little bit on the top, and that's not a big deal, but it's fairly easy to clean that up once everything's dried. I just like to take a file and just run along this edge, just to be sure that everything's blended in together nice and smooth like that. Doesn't take a lot, just a few passes with the file. And that's it. And check for any other burrs. Sometimes there's a little bit of a burr left over from the tab. It really won't affect anything, but it doesn't hurt to just knock that off like that so it's all nice and smooth. Now we have one section of SweepSticks glued together. It's two pieces, and this is a fairly long piece. This is a 20-inch piece, which works quite well for holding FlexTrack while you're installing it in place. Now there's two types of FlexTrack. There's a springy type like this here. This is Atlas FlexTrack, where if you curve it when you let it go, it'll actually spring back straight again. And this FlexTrack, this style of FlexTrack, is actually one of the easiest to work with because of that nice springy property of it. And with the SweepSticks, it's a very good match. If you just drop the SweepStick in and shape it around the SweepStick like that and just push it down in between the rails, and it'll just snap in like that. And with that in place, now that's a nice 15-inch radius. And we would, if to install this in place on our roadbed, we would just apply a bead of glue or caulking down and drop this in place and put some thumbtacks through these holes, and that's what holds it in place while the adhesive cures. And then we just pop the SweepStick out, and this will stay at that shape. The other style of FlexTrack that's available is a stiff style. That when you curve it, it stays in the shape that you curve it to, and this stuff can be a little bit more difficult to work with, and that's really where these SweepSticks work really nice, because these help get that radius shape into the FlexTrack consistently, and that's what you're looking for. Now this one piece here, you can see I've been playing with it, so the ties are all kind of messed up, and the radiuses and it's got lots of kinks and bends in it, but we'll actually be able to salvage this and use it. I'm going to curve it to this very small 15-inch radius. That's an unusual size to use in HO scale, but I wanted to use a small one just to show the way that these tools work. And what I like to do is kind of pre-bend the piece of FlexTrack ahead of time. It makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just bending it to approximately the radius we're going to go with, and then I'm going to use the SweepStick to finish it off and get a nice consistent curve on it. And I'm just going to work my way back and forth down the piece of FlexTrack, getting the SweepStick in place like that. There. Okay, that's snapped in there. Now I'm just going to have a closer look and make sure that we got a nice constant curve all the way down. So you can see it's a little bit of a high spot in there. So we'll just kind of pull that back in. There we go. all the way down. That looks pretty good. So now that piece of flex track is curved at a nice consistent 15-inch radius, like that. And because of this nature of this flex track, this can actually come out and it will hold its shape at that radius, like that. There. So that kinky old piece actually formed quite nicely into the radius that we want, and that can be installed in place. And you can install it in place either leaving the sweep stick in until the adhesive cures, or you can take them out with the stiff stuff. It seems to work both ways pretty good.